Calculating the length of the hypotenuse. Here we have a triangle, a right triangle, because right in this corner is 90 degrees. And this is for this question right here. Calculate the length of the hypotenuse of a triangle with side lengths 7 and 8 meters. So it's already been drawn here. This length here is 8 meters. We can call that side B. This length here is 7 meters. We can call that side A. And then this line here is the hypotenuse, and we can label that C. So from Pythagorean theorem, we know that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we're looking for c squared. So there's no reason that we can't flip this around and say, okay, well, I know I'm looking for c. I'll put c squared over here equals a squared plus b squared. Haven't done anything, I've just flipped the sides. Okay, so c is unknown. Of course, that's the hypotenuse. A, we said, was 7 meters. So we can fill this in here. A is 7. And B, we said, is this length, so that's 8. Okay, so I'm just using the numbers and dropping the units. C squared equals 7 squared plus 8 squared. So 7 squared is 49. And 8 squared is 64. So c squared equals, if we add these two numbers together, we get 113. Now, to solve c squared equals 113, we need c. So we need to take the square root of c squared. We need to take the square root of c squared to get c. And if we square root the left side, we need to square root the right side. So the square root of c squared is c. And that's exactly what we're looking for. So if we use a calculator, punch this in, we can do the square root of 113, and we will get c equals 10.6301, and we'll round that off and say c equals 10.6. And the units here are meters. So there's the hypotenuse for this triangle. Let's try another one here. Calculate the length of the diagonals of this rectangle. Okay, so the rectangle is given. One length is 16 meters and one length is 8 meters. So the diagonal, we can draw it in here. And this, when we do that, cuts this rectangle into two identical right triangles. Right here we have, right here, one right triangle, and then here's the other one. Of course, they're both the same because this is 8 meters, this is 8 meters, this is 16 meters, this is 16 meters. So we'll just use the picture of this one here to do our calculations. So the length of the diagonal is the hypotenuse of this triangle. We can label that C. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared, or like in our last question, we'll simply rearrange. So c squared equals a squared plus b squared because we're looking for c. Now we can pick which one's a, which one's b. Let's just say this one's a. So c squared equals 8 squared. And let's say then b is 16. As long as c is the hypotenuse, a and b can be either one. So c squared, 8 squared is 64. And 16 squared is 256. So c squared is, we add these two together and we get 320. So that's c squared. We want c. So if we square root c squared, we'll get c. And if we square root the left side, we need to square root the right side. So we get square root of c squared here, leaves us with c. And the square root of 320, we can punch that into our calculator, 17.8885, and let's round that off to 17.9. And again, the units here are meters. So the length of the diagonal, which is the hypotenuse of this right triangle, is 17.9 meters.